welcome back to another episode of Thick, the horrible, imperfect content cop. So here we go. We're gonna be looking at some more true story animations. Woo! Okay. Let me go on YouTube. Oh yeah, I have no internet. I forgot. I gotta connect. Connect. It's connect. Okay. I just type in Storytime animation. Right there. Okay. So we got Storytime animated. Then we got My Story animated. We got lots of other videos about it. What the hell? Okay. So here we go. We're gonna we're gonna watch. Now I've never seen this one. I've only seen I've seen My Story animated. So we're gonna see that. Because screw it. Oh. Let me just go on to videos. So here we go. My whole life was a lie for 17 years. It's not all of our lives. Okay. We got, my mom don't make me enough food. I just forgot. So first off, we got My Whole Life Was a Lie for 17 years, and then we got My Mom Don't Make Enough Food. And then we got, I got locked in a mail for days. Mall. I thought it said mail. I'm stupid. Then we, don't.
Georgia, eat some cantaloupe, please. I'm gonna do that instead. Okay.
I got stuck with Justin Bieber on the elevator. You know what? Let's just watch this. Cause screw it. Wait, I forgot about the headphones.
I was riding in an elevator with Justin Bieber when suddenly it lurched to a stop. It was just a normal day when it happened. I was at the record label on my way out to do the morning coffee run. I walked into the elevator and hit the down button, then waited for the doors to close. The doors were sliding together, but suddenly someone's arm stuck between them, stopping them from closing. They slid back open, and I saw him. There he was, Justin Bieber, international pop superstar. It was like he had a halo of bright light behind him. It wasn't the first time that I had seen him in my life. As a card-carrying believer, I had been to loads and loads of his concerts, but it was the first time that I had seen him up close. Oh my God, he was beautiful. I had never been close enough to smell him before.
I'm sorry, what the fuck?
He smelled like expensive cologne, of course. He looked like he had just walked out of a magazine photo shoot. His blonde hair and tan skin. I had to pinch myself to make sure I wasn't dreaming. "Hey," he said to me as the elevator doors shut. I almost died. "Stop it, Jesse. This is your chance. Don't sound like a weirdo. Just be cool." He said hi. Just say hi back. No need to overthink it. I had said hi a million times in my life, at least. We just wanted to be cool, regular Jesse, not obnoxious fangirl Jesse. I opened my mouth to say it, but right then, there was a loud bang and the elevator stopped moving. The lights flickered on and off for a second before they turned back on. The elevator had just gotten stuck. Holy crap, what were we going to do? I thought I was dreaming, but no, the elevator was really stuck. I looked at Justin and he was already freaking out. He started banging on the elevator doors like that was going to get them open. He started yelling, which made me start to panic a little. It was just the two of us, but I knew that the building was full of people at work. Somebody was going to notice and let us out. I don't think anyone can hear you. Justin turned around and glared at me. His light brown eyes looked like they were on fire. Uh-oh. Did you do this? He demanded. My mouth fell open. Did I do this? Do what? Make the elevator stop? How would I even manage to do that? Yeah, for the first time in my life, I was stuck in a small private space with my favorite pop star, which was a dream come true, but I didn't sabotage the elevator to make sure that we got trapped inside.
What is this, Among Us?
What was I, some sort of evil mastermind? I was scared too, in case he hadn't noticed. Do what? I asked. You did something to the elevator so that I'd be stuck in here with you. I just stared at him because I couldn't believe what he was accusing me of. If you did, you're in big trouble. I'm gonna call my lawyer. I'm gonna call my publicist. He started digging around his pockets for his phone. Well, wait a second. You really think I'd sabotage the elevator so that I'd be stuck in here with you? Who do you think you are? He paused, looking at me like he wasn't really sure what he was going to say next. Are you saying that you didn't sabotage the elevator? Oh my God, of course not. I don't want to be stuck in an elevator. Wait, not even with me? Justin asked. He couldn't tell, but right then, I was absolutely screaming on the inside. Which fan wouldn't want to be stuck anywhere with their favorite idol? I was going to play it cool, though. My mother was a record company executive at Justin's record label, and my dad was a high-powered lawyer for studios and different directors in Hollywood. My whole life growing up, I had been surrounded by famous and powerful people. I was going to be heading to college soon, so my mother thought that an internship at the record label would look good on my resume. Whatever you do, do not embarrass me or yourself in front of the talent, she said. While they are here, they are just regular people going to work. Don't make me regret letting you work here over the summer. I got to work at a record label where tons of my favorite celebrities walked through every other day, but the one condition was no fangirling. That was easy, I thought, and it was. Up until now, I hadn't been stuck in the elevator literally 2 feet away from my favorite pop star. No, not even with you, not with anybody. Being stuck in an elevator is one of the worst things that can happen to a person. You're telling me. He gave up and sat down on the ground. Good. It looked like he didn't notice that I was lying through my teeth when I said that I didn't want to be stuck in an elevator with
Are you Pinocchio or something?
him. He didn't say anything for a few minutes, and neither did I. Wow, stuck in an elevator with Justin Bieber, and the best I could get was an awkward silence? So, what's your name? He asked me finally. Jesse. Nice to meet you, Jesse. I'm Justin. I'm Justin? He was Justin Bieber. He didn't have to introduce himself. He was an international superstar. Everybody knew who he was. No, stop. Don't do that while you're in here with him, I thought. He is probably used to crazy fangirls mobbing him all the time and just wants to be normal once in a while. It finally dawned on me. This was serious. I was in a position that thousands, no, millions of believers around the world wish that they could be in. I was stuck in a small space with Justin, and I could tell him anything that I wanted. I cleared my throat and composed myself. Hello, Justin. So nice to meet you. He started asking me a couple more questions, like how old I was and where I went to school. He wasn't in school anymore, of course. After high school, which he graduated with a 4.0 GPA, by the way, he didn't end up going to college. I mean, why would he? He already had a job. He had had a job since he was 13. And now he was the Justin Bieber. He had probably made enough money from his music to never have to work again. I told him how old I was, 18, almost 19, and that my family lived in Calabasas. My parents had always been in high-powered jobs, so I had always been around important people. I had met a ton of celebrities when I was just a kid. I had pictures and everything. That's really cool. So what are you doing here? He asked. I was going to tell him that my mother worked at the record label, but I stopped. Didn't that sound weird? Didn't it sound like I was just here at the record label because my mother worked here? I didn't want him to think that I used my mom's job to get stuff that normal people couldn't get. I looked for internships in Hollywood, and I was lucky enough to find this one. Really? He didn't look convinced. Yeah, I've always wanted to be a singer, so I thought working at a record label would be good experience to see what happens in the business. Oh, you want to be a singer? He asked. He quirked one of his eyebrows and flashed me the sweetest smile. I melted right on the spot. I couldn't believe that I was standing there lying to Justin Bieber, but it sounded like he liked what I was telling him. The truth was so boring. What was wrong with telling him this version? Yeah, it's dumb. I don't even know if I could do it, but I have always wanted to be a singer. Don't say that. I'm sure you're super talented. Thanks, but I don't think you can even say that. You've never even heard me sing. Do it then. What? Sing something for me. If Justin Bieber told you to jump, the only acceptable reply was how high. There was one little problem though. I couldn't sing to save my life. The truth was that I was tone deaf. I really liked music and singing, but I couldn't carry a tune in a backpack if I tried. When I was a kid, I used to think that I was a great singer, one of the greatest singers. I thought that if I wanted to, I could have a real singing career. I mean, my mother worked at a record label. It was like destiny. It was meant to be. But this was Justin Bieber. What was I supposed to do? Tell him no? So I did it. I sang the first verse of his latest single. I had to close my eyes because I was so embarrassed. When I was done, he was smiling. Look, I'm here to have a meeting with my producer. How about this? Once we get out of here, if we can get out of here alive, you can sing for my producer and maybe we can see what happens. Excuse me? Was that Justin Bieber truly asking me to spend more time with him after
Yeah, I doubt that happened.
we got out of this elevator? It absolutely was. Wait, did that mean I was a better singer than I thought I was? How unlucky was that? I get a chance to meet Justin Bieber and he offers me the chance of a lifetime to meet someone who could actually give me a music career, but I can't even sing. The elevator lurched again and there was another bang. After the lights flickered a couple of times, the elevator doors slid back open. Justin jumped to his feet. "We are free! We're free!" he said. "Quick, before the doors close again." Just then, Justin grabbed my hand and yanked me out of the elevator with him. I was never washing that hand again. "Are you okay?" Justin asked me. Was I okay? I had just spent the most perfect 15 minutes of my life alone in an elevator with Justin Bieber. I was more than okay. If I died tomorrow, I wouldn't have a single problem with it. "I'm fine. What about you?" I asked him. Justin! Justin!" Just then, we heard someone shouting from down the hallway. One who was security came up to us. "Justin, your producer has been looking all over for you. What happened? Where..."
Hold on a second. Boop. Is that Donald freaking Trump?
"Where were you?" Guys, relax. The elevator just got stuck for a while, but everything is cool. "I made a new friend. This is..." "Justin, you don't have time for this. You're late for a meeting." The men started dragging Justin away. Well, that was that. My brief encounter with Justin Bieber that I would remember for the rest of my life. I sighed. Guys, wait. This is Jessie. I want her to come to the meeting with me. I want her to meet my producer." The guys looked really annoyed with him, but they didn't argue. Just like that, I was in. My life flashed before my eyes. I was going to meet a producer because Justin thought I could sing. All I could remember was the other kids at the talent show laughing at me. I had to stop this. "Justin, I really have to get back to work. I was actually on my way." I was going to say that I was on my way to do a coffee run for everyone at the office I was working in, but then Justin grabbed my hand and I couldn't think straight anymore. Justin wanted to take me somewhere. Who was I to complain? I followed him to the office where we met his producer. A man was sitting at the end of a long table. He stood up, looking really upset when Justin and I showed up. "Justin, where the hell were you? Money doesn't grow on trees, kid. Time is money." I know. Look, it isn't our fault. The elevator got stuck, but I have some good news. Jessie's actually a singer. The guys looked at me like I was something on the bottom of his shoe. "A singer? Well, I'll be the judge of that. Why is she here? This is a private meeting. You can't bring your little girlfriends to these, Justin." Girlfriend? I almost had a heart attack. Justin just recently got out of a relationship, and I knew that he wasn't dating at the moment. Obviously, I wasn't his girlfriend, but it made me feel good that his producer thought I was Justin's type. "Look, how about this? Jessie sings for you, you see how good she is, and she gets to stay for the meeting," Justin suggested. I was so dazed that I didn't realize what he just said. When I snapped out of it, I looked at the producer. He had a wicked grin on his face. "Okay, let's just see how good you are, Jessie. Sing something for me." I stood there with my mouth hanging open, looking at Justin and his producer, both waiting for me to blow them away with my amazing vocal skills. "Well done, Jessie. You really dug yourself into a hole this time." I should have said something earlier about not knowing how to sing. The producer was smirking while Justin was smiling at me. "Well, come on, blow us away," the producer said menacingly. I wanted to cry, but if I ran out of there covering my face, maybe Justin would forget that I have ever existed. But I didn't want to make him mad. I didn't want to embarrass him when he had given me the opportunity of a lifetime. So I closed my eyes. Whatever happened now, happened. I took a deep breath and I started singing. I chose one of Justin's songs because I knew them all by heart. I was so bad, you guys. I could practically hear windows shattering and babies crying when I sang. It was that off-key. I kept going for the whole song, and neither Justin nor his producer stopped me. When I was done, both of them were speechless. Justin spoke first. Justin said, "Wow, I really think she could be the next best thing. She's young and she has a good image. I think people will really like her." The producer scratched the back of his head. "Justin, are you sure?" "Absolutely. In fact, I want her on my next song as the featured artist." The producer paused, then nodded. "Okay, we can make that happen. We'll call you." They took my contact and Justin escorted me out of the room. I was in a daze. Had that really happened? Now everyone who said I couldn't sing in the past would have to eat their words. "Are you serious about what you said? About me being a feature artist on your next track?" I asked Justin. "What? No, of course not. Are you kidding me? You can't sing to save your life." I stopped. "What? Seriously. I just did it because my producer takes too much money from his cut of my profits. If he actually released music from someone who sounded like you, he'd be a laughing stock." He laughed and walked away. But before he left, he said, "You're cute. How about a date?" My heart broke. All these years of being a fan, I thought I knew Justin, but I didn't. He had tricked me. I looked deep inside his eyes and said, "Oh, I would love that." And we scheduled a date. On the day of the date, he called me 30 times, but I never picked up. I think he will never forget my name, just like I will never forget his.
I'm done. That's stupid. I'm done. It's been about 18 minutes since I started recording. So I just woke up. So I think it's time we bring balance back to the force. For if we do not, we would be forced to watch crappy content on YouTube. So let's do this. Okay, I'm gonna end the video here actually. So yeah, gamers, as always, game on. Wait, I forgot. I gotta talk about someone else. There's someone else on YouTube named True Stories. Now, they're just stupid as hell, honestly. That's all I gotta say. They're stupid. Basically, here's the newest videos. We got my dad got cucked, and this is a story about these little pouches, which just never happened. And then we got I'm a fed adult. So we're gonna. It's about a YouTuber named Jarvis Johnson. He's pretty good actually. So here we go.
Hey, I'm Jarvis, and I can't live without breast milk. And I can't live without breast milk.
What the
It's the best thing in the world. If you haven't
for babies?
guessed, I was breastfed as a child. I still remember waking up in the mornings and excitedly running into Mom's room. I'd climb up onto her bed, saying, "Booby, Mommy, booby," and pull
I'm done.
back the covers to find the treat I knew was waiting for me. Every morning felt like Christmas morning. I loved my mommy's milk, but after my younger brother was born, it changed slightly, and I drink primarily from the left side. Every so often, I'd try the other side and tell Mom it tasted different. It was like one side was banana flavor, and the other side was chocolate or something. I actually got into a fight with my brother over that. He said his side tasted better, but I knew mine did.
Mine did taste better.
Mom had to settle it by drawing a line down the middle of her chest and making each of us stay on our own side. One night, we were tandem nursing while Mom was reading us a bedtime story. When
I don't even know what that means, and I'm 14, so kill me.
I pointed out to one of the pictures and went to say something, only I forgot I was still drinking and accidentally bit her. Ouch! She cried, poking her little finger in my mouth to unlatch me. She patted my head and said, "You're a big boy now, Jarvis. You don't really need Mommy's milk anymore." She reminded me that I was going to be starting school soon and asked if I was ready to stop breastfeeding. I shook my head with tears forming and cried, "No, Mommy, I love Booby."
The person who's saying this, their neighbors or roommates or whatever, are just gonna be like, what the are you doing?
Please, no. Thankfully, she didn't force me to stop, but after that, I was always careful not to talk with my mouth full. Honestly, though, I remember getting really worried in the lead up to starting school. I kept thinking that my brother would drink all Mommy's milk while I was gone during the day, and there'd be no Booby left for me when I got home. But my first day, just before lunch, Mom turned up at the classroom with my brother in his stroller. She pointed to me and said, "I'm his mom. I'm here for lunch." The teacher nodded as Mom walked in, sat down, and untucked her shirt.
No!
I ran over, jumped up on her lap, and started drinking.
No, God,
I was so
please,
happy.
No.
I'll never
I'm just making a joke.
forget that day. As I got older, Mom kept offering me cow's milk in a cup, but I refused to drink it. It tasted like poison to me.
That's a weird face. Get that away from me, bro.
The only milk I'd drink was hers, so she continued to nurse me all through middle school. The staff were pretty supportive, and even gave us a private room to use. By the time I got to high school, Mom was pumping milk for me. Of course, I'd drink it from a glass by then, but I wasn't sure what I'd do when I went to college. Thankfully, my older sister Amanda came to the rescue. Just before I finished school, she had a baby with her husband and offered to pump milk for me. Amanda was the best.
My heart! I can't take much more of this.
So, I switched from my mother's to my sister's milk. It was a bit different at first. My sister's milk was a little thicker and tasted a bit sweeter than Mom's. It was so good.
Somebody help me. Somebody just help. Just kill me.
Once a week, I'd stop by Amanda's place and pick up the bags of milk she pumped and kept in the freezer for me. I was in my final year of college when I decided to tell my long-term girlfriend, Janelle. We'd planned to get married after graduation and had already discussed having
Sorry. How does the guy in the story have a girlfriend? Not talking about the actual Jarvis Johnson, but how?
kids, so I knew she was keen on breastfeeding and aware of the benefits. She was making coffee
What benefits?
one afternoon, and as she poured milk into her cup, I casually said, "I don't understand how people can drink milk from another species, especially cows that stand in their own poo or covered in flies and pumped full of steroids. No other animal does that. It's disgusting." Janelle slowly put the milk bottle down on the countertop and asked, "So, you don't want milk in yours?"
I'm done. I'm done. Janelle is stupid. I'm just kidding. I'm obviously kidding.
"I'm not a calf. I'm a human. I only drink human milk," I said. I then went on to tell her how I actually hadn't ever stopped drinking breast milk. "Isn't that a bit weird?" she asked.
Yes.
"No, it's biologically normal,"
For babies.
I said, and explained how it only seems weird to some people because they've grown up in a culture where marketing has sexualized breasts by using them to sell cars and clothes. People forget that breasts are there to provide food. I asked if she'd let me drink her milk after we had a baby. She didn't have any objections.
What? What the fuck?
So the following year, when little Tyson was born, my wife took over from my sister and started breastfeeding me too. Now, Janelle pumps and freezes milk for me to take to work. Some evenings I drink straight from the source, while she feeds Tyson on the other side. The three of us are so close, and Tyson is growing strong and healthy, just like me. After all, breast milk is the perfect food for growing humans.
Babies.
Nutritionally, immunologically, and psychologically.
Alright, now we're gonna watch My Dad Got Caught.
Hi, I'm Diesel, and
What person would name themselves Diesel? What parents would name their son Diesel?
basically, my dad is a pathetic...
I didn't censor that. They censored it.
So, about 6 months ago, my parents started acting weirder than normal. Mum would come home from work, make dinner, then dress up and go out again. All Dad ever said was, "You look nice, have a good time." He acted like he didn't mind, so I just assumed Mum was going through some kind of midlife identity crisis.
Bruh.
Turned out she was having an affair, only Dad seemed oblivious to it. Eventually, Mum stopped trying to hide the fact that she was seeing some guy from work, and began to happily parade her boyfriend around town. It didn't take long for word to get out, and soon friends at school were asking if my parents had split up. Somehow, I had to explain that my mum was cheating, but my dad refused to acknowledge it. The question started out innocently enough, but things quickly turned dark. I'll never forget the time a bunch of jocks started flapping their arms, yelling, "Cock-a-doodle-doo!"
God, cock-a-doodle-doo. That was an accident. Cock-a-doodle-doo, are you kidding me? Why do they have to do him like that?
Down the hall at me. "Hey Diesel, does your dad make the bed after your mum and her boyfriend have finished in it?"
Oh! Savage!
One asked, while the others cracked up in hysterics. It was only a few days after that, when I got home, to find
The frick is that mom's face?
Mum sitting on the living room sofa, with Dad on one side and the douchebag on the other. She was holding both their hands.
The hell happened to the dad? What the hell is his facial expression? God, I can't speak.
What the f... I started to protest, but Mum cut me off, telling me to sit down. "You've probably got a few questions," she said. "Mostly just one, Mum. What the actual fuck?"
So they censored out the first part, but they didn't censor out the F word?
She gave me some line about her and Dad loving each other, but him not being man enough to satisfy her. I felt my stomach churning while she officially introduced me to Rudy. Mum explained how they'd been seeing each other for a while, but now they were taking the relationship to the next level. Without batting an eyelid, she told me Rudy would be moving in with us to be a permanent
Why'd he do that with his eyebrows?
part of our family. "You can't be serious," I protested, turning to Dad. "And you're okay with this?" Before he could reply, Rudy puffed out his chest and said, "Your father knows his place, Diesel. This wouldn't have happened if he was more of a man. Plus, your mother is worried you're becoming a pussy."
Why didn't they censor that out too? What the hell?
"Just like him. You need a proper male role model." I felt the rage boiling up inside me. As I looked over and saw Dad shrinking more and more into the sofa, a single tear fell from my right eye. "See?" Rudy said. "Real men don't cry."
Actually, real men do cry, you friggin' jackbutt.
"Your father's made you soft." "Dad, aren't you going to say something?" I begged, wanting him to stand up for himself, put up a fight, anything. He took a deep breath, composed himself, and said, "Diesel, adult relationships aren't always black and white. I love your mother and want her to be happy. If I can't give her what she needs, who am I to stop her from finding it?" I sat there, stunned. But then Rudy smiled creepily and said, "Don't worry, Diesel. Your dad enjoys watching me make your mum happy."
What the fuck?
Suddenly, something inside me lurched, and, with projectile velocity, my stomach contents shot out of my mouth. All things considered, I think I handled it rather well.
Bro, so we both done Rudy and the mom and the dad.
It's been 2 months now since Rudy moved in and sent my cuck of a dad to the guest room. Everyone keeps assuring me they're happy, but I still can't accept it. Am I right to be upset? Or is this the new normal, and I'm just being a giant pussy? Let me know what you think in the comments below.
I'm about to head out. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe. It really helps out the channel. Yeah. Out. Wait, let me try that again. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe, like, and comment your opinion of these channels. And comment.